Hello, I'm Adam Riley and I'm going to be solving Preppin Data 2024 week 23 in Enso interactively with you all. So this week we've got a salary analysis problem. So Superbytes have realised they've been underpaying some of their staff. They want to do analysis to make sure that the pay is being correct. So we've got a Excel file with 3 input sheets. So we've got a file with salaries, we've got a file with tenure, and we've also got a total amount paid to each of those, and we're going to do some analysis based on that. So I'm going to jump across to the Enso product where I've got the Preppin Data starter workflow. If you want to follow along, you can download this from our community site, link in the comments below. And I've also copied and pasted the instruction set into the workflow documentation just so we can follow along as we go. Okay, so here's our Excel workbook. As I said, this has got 3 worksheets. So following through the instructions, so input the data. Okay, we've got that there. So now we need to look at the salaries and tenure sheets, and it says we need to clean the manager's names so they match, and then we're going to join them together. So if I pull in a data read component, and that's on 2 data read components. So first one is the tenures, and the other one is the salaries. Let's take a look at the data we've got in each of those. Okay, so we've got 16 rows. So the salaries is the name and the salary, and then the tenures has got a start date and an end date. And we need to join these together. So the instructions actually say to clean the manager names so they match together, but looking at them, it looks like they only mismatch in case, and in actual fact, Enso is able to join in a case-insensitive manner. So let's take a look, but I think we may not need to do that clean. So join, and we'll do it inner join on. So here we've got the equals, which is the default option, but if we hit the drop down, we can do equals ignore case. So if I do that and choose name, then yeah, so we've got all 16 rows coming through. So in fact, we don't need to clean them, we can match using them as they were. So let's close those down, move this up so we can keep tidy as we work. Okay, so the next thing we do is need to calculate the tenure, number of days for each manager's employment. But for current employees, we've got this problem that we've got a text in the end date. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a cast component to cast that end date column into a date field. So I'm able to do date operations on it. So I'll choose the end date. Change the type to a date, and we get some warnings. So the warnings are telling us that the text current can't be converted to a date because text is not a date, and they're going to end up as nothing. So if we look in the data after this, we've got the end date of nothing. But this is actually quite useful because we can use this to then substitute those in the next step. So I'm going to hush those warnings. So on problems I send them to ignore. That just makes that warning disappear because I'm expecting that. That's fine. Again, I'm going to close and move this up so I can keep tidy as I work. So then in the instructions we can see that for this purpose of this calculation, the end date, sort of the date of this today, I guess, that we're doing these calculations, is the 5th of June. So what I can do is I can use the fill nothing. So now all those texts that were current in the end date field are now nothing. So I can fill nothing to replace those values. and then I can create a new date using the date new component. I'll set this to 2024 and month of June and the 5th day, and then I can drop that into here. So this is what I want to set the nothings to, and we can see that the end dates now are all filled in, and for the ones that are still current employees, it's set to the 5th of June. So again, let's close that down. Let's move these two up. Okay, so now we can calculate the tenure. So the tenure is going to be calculated in days. So that's the difference between the start date and the end date. So for this, we can use a set component, and if we put it into a simple expression mode, we can use some of the date passing functionality. So start date, and then the operation is date diff to the end date, and we want days. And then I can name that new field tenure. So if we take a look at the output from this table, we can see we've created a new field on the right hand side. So this is the tenure of each employee in days. Again, I'll close that, move that one up. Okay, so now we've got a salary in the tenure, we can calculate the expected total salary for each manager. So again, that's going to be a set component. This time we'll use an expression. So I presume the salary is annual. Looks like an annual salary. So we want salary and I guess I'll divide that by 365 to get a day rate. Don't know if it should be 365 and a quarter. Let's see if that makes a difference. And then multiply that by the number of days, and that should be the expected total salary of each of our managers. So let's name it like that. Okay. Oh, and it says rounded to the nearest whole number. So if I do a round expression, great. Right, so now I've got, okay, amount paid sheets. This is how much money we've actually paid them. So if I grab another off the input workbook, read the amount paid sheet, and again I need to join this on. And I guess I need to do another case insensitive join, so we'll do inner join and the case insensitive on the name field. Oh, and here we're just getting a warning that the right name was repeated in the output, so because we're repeating these names, so again I'm happy with that, so I can switch that to ignore. Okay, so let's move these up as usual. So now if we come across the right hand side, we've got the expected total salary, the amount we actually paid them, and we're looking for the ones that are different. So we can do that with a filter. So filter where total expected salary is not equal to the amount paid. And this should be our answer. So yeah, the only strange thing here is we seem to have more records than they were expecting. I don't know if that's... Should it have been 36.25 up here? Let's try changing that, see if that helps us. No, that does not help us. That makes it worse. That makes all of them. Let's undo that. So why do we have 8 and they have 3? Maybe they only care about people who are still employed, because I guess if people have stopped being employed, then there's not much we can do if we paid them wrong. So let's see. Right, so we can filter down again. Let's filter to anyone who, so the current employees, you remember, the ones that the end date was set. So end date equals, and then what we'll do is we'll grab that date field that's just up here at the top of the screen. So anyone's got the end date set to that, they're a current employee. Okay, and now we've got 3 fields, so I think we're now looking good. And the last thing to do is just remove unnecessary fields. So we'll just do a select columns for this. So select columns, and we can just choose the output columns that we want, which is name, it is salary, expected total salary, and the amount paid. There we have the final answer. So that is Preppin data week 23, solved in Enso. As I say, you can download this starter workflow from our website, community website. You can download the free version of the program from our website, ensoanalytics.com, and give it a go yourself. Thank you for watching.